Hello students. In the last class we have discussed about some of the laws in first chapter, that is Gay-Lussac's law and Avogadro's law. Similarly, Dalton's atomic theory also we have seen, and we have seen the postulates of Dalton's atomic theory, and these are almost predictable questions for your annual examination for 1 marks as well as 2 marks. And also we have seen the greater difference between the atom and the mass as well as the element, how the elements are formed, what are the features of atoms, and what is a molecular mass, that also we have seen, right? So in the continued part of this chapter, today we'll learn about the mole concept and molar masses, as well as some kind of composition, and which means the elements or the compounds are made up of different percentage composition, right? So if you take any substance, it will be always 100% out of 100%. So how it is divided into different things or different molecules or different elements, that we'll learn today. Similarly, we'll go for the empirical formula as well as the molecular formula, how to calculate the empirical formula as well as molecular formula. We'll continue in this chapter. Along with that, we also see some of the important formulas like mole fraction, what is molarity and what is molarity, right? So in the beginning of this class, today we'll go with the mole concept as well as the molar mass, right? So there is a formula for the mole concept. 1 mole is the amount of substance that contains as many as particles, so entities, as there are atoms, exactly 12 grams of the carbon 12 isotope, right? So here if you see, so 1 mole is the amount of substance so that contain as many particles as entities are in the atoms, exactly 12 grams. So this is very important, right? So yesterday we have seen it is a 1/12 of the carbon atom, right? So yesterday we have seen, so any molecule, right? So if you want to give the atomic weight of the molecule, so that is generally given as so 1/12 of the atomic weight of the carbon atom, right? So 1/12 of the atomic weight of the carbon atom, that I have explained. If you take a carbon element, right, and if you divide this carbon element into 12 equal parts, right? So here if you divide this into 12 equal parts, so if you can take one part, so that will be recognized as a 1/12, right? So therefore if you take hydrogen, the weight of hydrogen is 1, weight of oxygen is 16, that will be equal to this 1/12 weight of the carbon atom, that I have already explained. The same concept is given in one case of a mole concept. So that is 1 mole of a amount of substance that contains as many particles, right? Which means how many particles are present in the 1/12th area of this carbon atom, so that many entities are generally present in 1 mole of the substance. If you take 1 mole of hydrogen, so it will be equal to, so the entities which are present in the 1/12th of the carbon atom of 12 grams of the carbon atom, that is carbon 12 isotope, right? So that is generally recognized as mole concept, right, or molar mass, right? So and here the one important thing is Avogadro constant, right? So we have seen the Avogadro law. So here one important thing is, that is Avogadro constant. So Avogadro constant is generally represented as so capital N subscript E, right? So the Avogadro value is generally recognized as capital N, so which is having the subscript. If we write below, we'll call it as subscript. If we write this above, we'll call it as superscript, right? And the overall value is 6.022 into 10 raised to 23 atom, right? So this is the constant value. This is the constant value. That is the Avogadro value is equal to 6.022 into 10 raised to 23 atom, which means if you consider any substance, it consists of 6.022 into 20 raised to 23 atoms in that molecule or in that element or in that substance, right? So that is generally called as Avogadro constant, right? So therefore it is represented as N subscript E, capital N subscript E. That is the overall value of Avogadro constant is 6.022 into 10 raised to 23 atoms, which means 1 mole of water molecule consists of 6.022 into 10 raised to 23 water molecules. For example, if I take H2, right, so that is a 1 mole of H2, right? So if I take 1 mole of H2, so it is equivalent to or it consists of 6.022 into 10 raised to 23 atoms. So if you take any element or any substance or any compound, so generally it is made up of, if you take 1 mole, it is made up of 6.022 into 10 raised to 23 atoms. Similarly, if you take 1 mole of HCl, right, or 1 mole of NaCl, right, so or 1 mole of H2O2, any molecule. So these consist of the Avogadro value. Avogadro value is 0.622 into 10 raised to 23 atoms. So this is generally called as a constant value, right. So this is generally called as constant value, and that is recognized as Avogadro constant, right. So that is recognized as a Avogadro constant, and it is represented by, so capital N, and subscript is taken as A, right. So that is all about the Avogadro constant, right? And the mass of 1 mole of a substance in grams is called molar mass. Generally, if you define a molar mass in a simple way, so that is generally recognized as the mass of 1 mole of substance in grams. Whenever you say in terms of grams, the mass will be given in terms of grams. So that is generally recognized as a molar mass. Molar mass means any substance. If you take 1 mole, if you consider 1 mole of any substance, right? So if you say the mass in terms of grams, right? So if you generally give the mass of any substance of 1 mole in terms of grams, so that is generally recognized as a molar mass. That is generally recognized as a molar mass, right? So if they ask define molar mass, so write this for definition for 1 marks, right? The mass of 1 mole of substance in grams, that is called as molar mass. And in many problems we will use Avogadro constant value. So remember always, this is very important, constant value, that is 6.022 into 10 raised to 23 atoms, right? So every molecule, so if you take 1 mole of that substance or a molecule or a compound, it consists of a constant value. That constant value is generally recognized as Avogadro value, and it is represented by capital and subscript A, and its constant value is 6.022 into 10 raised to 23 atoms. And the next important thing is percentage composition, right? So if you take a percentage composition, for example, if I take a molecule, right? So I will explain here what is percentage composition. Percentage composition, right? So if you take any substance, for example, if I take a square, assume this is a substance. So this is made up of 4 different types of substances, right? So here I will say that it is made up of 4 different type of substances, like first one is A, B, C and D, right? So how many substances are there in this? There are 4 substances, right? So the overall value of this square is 100%, right? So the overall value of this substance is 100%, right? So if it is equally divided, since it is a square, it is equally divided, it looks like, so A consists of 25%, right? So B consists of 25%, C consists of 25%, and D consists of 25%, right? So like this, or which means A, B, C and D are in the ratio of 25%. All are in the ratio of 25%, right? So this is generally recognized as a percentage composition. Percentage composition means in overall composition, what is the percentage of particular material or particular substance, right? So or it may be also in the form of 10%, right? So and B may be in the form of 20%, right? And C may be in the form of 50%, right? 50, 20, that is 70 plus 10, that is 80, and D may be again 20%, right? So if you add these 4, and again you will get that is total 100%, which means it may be in the ratio of A may be 10%, B may be 20%, C may be 50%, and D may be 20%. Like this, it may be in the any ratio. It may be in the any ratio, but the overall value will be always that will be equal to 100%, right? So that is generally called as percentage composition. In the word itself, if you divide this two, right? So composition means it is mixing, right? Composition, which means it is mixing, right? So during mixing, what happens? There will be different percentage of molecules are binded or bonded or mixed. That is generally called as percentage composition. There is one formula for the calculation of percentage composition. We'll see that one. So in case of percentage composition, whenever you calculate the mass percent of the element, there is a formula. The mass percent of element is equal to mass of that element in a compound, right? So whatever the element you are calculating, the mass of that element in a compound into 100. Why will multiply here 100? Because we want the answer in terms of percentage. Therefore, you have to multiply here into 100. Therefore, mass of that element in a compound into 100 divided by molar mass of overall compound. molar mass of overall compound, right? So here we have given one example, right? So if mass of water, if you take water, so that is made up of H2O, right? So water is generally made up of H2O, and we know that total weight of water is 18 grams, right? So that is 18.02, and that is negligible value. Why the weight of H2O is 18 grams? Yesterday we have seen 2 hydrogen are there, so which means 2 into 1, right? And 1 oxygen is there, 1 into 16, right? So 2 into 1 is equal to 2, 1 into 16 is equal to 16. Overall weight of the hydrogen is 18 grams, right? So the exact value is 18.02 grams. You can take just 18 grams also, right? Therefore mass of water is generally taken as 18.02 grams. Here if you want to calculate the percentage of each element, right? So this is compound, this water molecule is compound. If you want to consider what is the percentage of hydrogen, right? Similarly, if you want to calculate what is the percentage of oxygen, right? So the percentage of hydrogen and the percentage of oxygen can be calculated on the basis of percentage composition, that is generally given in terms of mass percent of the element. There is a formula, there is mass of element in the compound divided by molar mass of the compound into 100, right? Therefore mass percentage of hydrogen is equal to, how many hydrogen are there? 2 hydrogen are there. Therefore the total weight of hydrogen will become 2, that is 2 into, right? So 2 into, so 1.008, right? So divided by, that is the weight of hydrogen atom, divided by 18.02 into 100, here you can cancel, and the overall value will be 11.08, and similarly mass percentage of oxygen, right? So mass percentage of oxygen, so that is so 16, the overall weight of oxygen is 16 because only one oxygen is present. So 1 into 16 will be 16, divided by total weight of the molecule is 18.02 into 100, so that will be equal to 88.79, which means if you consider water molecule, the percentage of hydrogen is 11.08%, right? And percentage of oxygen is generally 88.79%, right? So if you add both, again it will be almost equal to 100%. Therefore in a molecule or in a substance or in a compound, the overall weight will be 100%, and we can calculate the individual percentage, in the same manner. So here it is in the molecule in the ratio of 2:1, because hydrogen are 2, oxygen is 1, therefore it is in the ratio of 2:1. If you calculate the percentage composition with the help of formula, that is mass percent of the element is equal to mass of particular. If you are calculating hydrogen, that is a particular element, right? So that element, therefore if you take hydrogen, so that is hydrogen element. If you take oxygen, oxygen is the element, right? So that is divided by the overall weight into 100, so that will give the molecular mass, that is the mass percentage of the hydrogen and mass percentage of the oxygen. Again if you add, so it will be overall equal to almost 100%. Okay, the next important formula is empirical formula for molecular formula, right? So there will be a 3 marks question, or there might be a 5 marks question on this calculation of empirical formula for molecular formula. It's very simple problem. I will explain further that one. So just remember now what is empirical formula and as well as molecular formula, right? So empirical formula represents the simple whole number ratio of the various atoms present in the compound, right? So which means here I have taken H2, right? So H2 is made up of 2:1, right? So that is in the ratio of 2:1. If I take NaCl, right? So NaCl is made up of, it is in the ratio of 1:1, 1 sodium, 1 chlorine. If you take HCl is also made up of, it is in the ratio of, again hydrogen is 1 and chlorine is 1, right? So this is a simple whole number. Similarly, if you take H2SO4, so in H2SO4 what happens? So hydrogen are 2, sulfur is 1, oxygen are 4. It is in the ratio of 2:1:4, right? So these values are generally whole numbers, right? So and these whole numbers are generally given in terms of empirical formula, right? So therefore empirical formula represents a simple whole number, right? So it represents a simple whole number ratio of various atoms present in the compound. But molecular formula, what happens? It shows the exact number of different types. Of atoms present in the molecule in the compound. For example, here if I take C2 H2O4. C2 H2O4, right? So this 2:2:4, right? So it is in the ratio of 2:2:4. This I will call it as empirical formula, right? So this is generally called as empirical formula, right? So molecular formula means if I multiply this overall compound by 2, if I multiply this overall compound by 2, then what happens? It will become C2 into 2, that will be C4, and H2 into 2, that will be called H4, and O4 into 2, that will be called O8, which means it's a ratio changes. What happens? It's 2:1 ratio, it will be in the ratio of 4:4:8, and this ratio is generally called as a molecular formula, right? So that is the greater difference between the empirical formula and molecular formula, right? So you'll understand when you solve that problem, right? So just remember, whenever you take a simple ratio, that is generally called as empirical formula. Whenever you multiply with the constant value, right, so some value, so that will give the, or that will change the ratio of the molecule, that is generally called as molecular formula, right? So therefore empirical formula is a simple whole number ratio of the various atoms present in the compound, but molecular formula show the exact number. So this is an exact number, that is just a simple number or a simple ratio, but this is an exact number of different type of atoms present in the molecule or. Okay, the next important concept in this is stoichiometry and stoichiometric calculation, right? So that is a new word for you. Stoichiometry is generally a Greek word, right? So in this, stoichions means element, metron means measurement, right? So generally you study geometry. Geometry means measurement of earth, like this, right? Similarly, stoichiometry means the word stoichiometry is divided into two words. One is a stoichion and another word is metron. Metron means measurement, you know that one. So but the stoichiometry is generally given from the Greek word in which stoichions means element, right? So it is generally nothing but the measurement of elements is generally called as the stoichiometry, right? So stoichiometry is a branch of chemistry, so which is derived from the Greek word in which stoichions means element and metron means it is measurement, right? Or it is generally called as calculation of masses. It is generally recognized as a calculation of masses, right? So in that there are various formulas. So further we'll see various formulas in case of stoichiometric measurements or stoichiometric calculation, or generally, or in simple word you can call it as calculation of masses. Calculation of masses. In that first one is, so there is one important definition. So that is limiting reagent. 1 mark question, right? So most important question, limiting reagent. Limiting reagent means the reactant which get consumed. The reactant which get consumed limit the amount of product form. Limit the amount of product form, and it is therefore called as a limiting reagent. For example, so if you take 1 liter of water and if you add a salt for that and if you add sugar for that, in which one molecule will slow down the product formation. One molecule will slow down the product formation. In the word itself we can give limiting. Limiting means if the reaction is taking place, always the reactants are converted into product. Always the reactant are converted into product. For example, if you take reactant R, in the reaction what happens? The reactant will convert into product. This reactant is generally converted into product. So this added reactant molecule so will reduce the product formation or decreases the product formation. That decrease in value is generally called as a limit. This reactant limits the product formation. This reactant reduces or decreases the value of product formation, and that reagent is generally called as a limiting reagent, right? So in the definition itself you can see that one, right? So limiting reagent is generally given as the reactant which get consumed. Consumed means used, right? Limits means it will decreases the amount of product formed, and therefore it is generally called as limiting reagent, right? So this must be asked for 1 mark in your annual examination. Be careful with the limiting reagent formula. And the next important formula is mass percentage, right? So mass percentage, that is generally as a percentage composition, as we've seen in case of percentage composition, how the substance is divided into different elements or different molecules, and how we can calculate the percentage composition. The same way you can also calculate the mass percentage. There is one formula. Remember the formula: mass percent is equal to mass of solute divided by mass of solution. Solute divided by solution. Mass of solute divided by mass of solution into 100. Why 100? We need in terms of percentage. Remember, wherever we multiply by 100, it is to calculate the percentage value. It is to calculate the percentage value. Therefore, mass percent is equal to mass of solute divided by mass of solution into 100. Mass of solute divided by mass of solution into 100. For example, they have given one example. A solution is prepared by adding 2 grams of substance, that is A. A is one substance. They have taken 2 grams of A to 18 grams of water. To 18 grams of water. So therefore, calculate the mass percentage. Calculate the mass percentage. For example, if you take here, I will explain that problem. So there is A element or A substance. So and they have taken the 1 liter of water. They have said that they have taken 1 liter of water. Sorry, what they have taken, right? So they have taken the 18 grams of water, right? So they have not given in terms of liter, so they have given in terms of grams. So they say that they have taken 18 grams of water, and they say that so A is added, that is 2 grams. 2 grams of A is added, which means A is added, that is 2 grams, which means so 2 grams is added to 18 grams of H2, which means if you add both A plus H2O, so that will be equal to 18 plus 2, that is 20 grams. Total weight is 20 grams, right? So and we have to calculate the mass percentage of A, and we have to calculate the mass percentage of A. So then what we have to do, according to mass percentage of A, mass percent of A, that is equal to, there is a formula, that is mass of A divided by mass of solution into 100. Mass of A divided by mass of solution into 100. Therefore, mass of A is given, that is 2 grams. So I will substitute this 2 grams here, that is 2 grams divided by mass of solution. Solution means solute plus solvent. That is A plus H2O. The value of A is 2 and the value of H2O is 18. Whenever you add 2 plus 18, the overall value will be 20 grams. So therefore here I can divide by 20 grams into 100. Okay? So here if I divide this 0 and 0, cancel each other, and this is 2 ones are, that is equal to 10%. Like this we can calculate the mass percentage of any substance in a given compound. Similarly, we can calculate one more formula with one more example. We'll solve that one, right? For example, so in an 18 grams of water molecule, right? So 18 grams of H2O, the A is added of generally if you take 4 grams of A is added. So here, then what we have to do, again mass percentage of A is equal to mass of A divided by mass of solution into 100. That is equal to, so the weight of A is, that is mass of A is 4 divided by, so 18 plus 4, because it is the mass of solution. Solution means that is a solute plus a solvent. Whenever you add solute plus solvent, it will convert into solution. That is 18 plus 4, right? So what is the value of 18 plus 4? That is equal to 22. Therefore 22 into 100, right? So if you cancel 2 2s are, 2 11s are, right? So 2 by 11 into 100, that is equal to, so whenever you make a 2 by 11 into 100, so here you can calculate 2 into 100 is 200 divided by 11, right? So if you take 200 divided by 11, right? So that is 200 divided by 11. Whenever you make 200 divided by 11, so the value might be equal to 19 grams or 19%, that is almost equal to 18.18%, right? So the value of A is in the percentage, so the mass percentage of A is generally given as 18.8%, right? So like this we can calculate the mass percentage of any given molecule. And the next important formula is, that is mole fraction. So mole fraction means if the substance A is dissolved in substance B, if a substance A is dissolved in substance B, the number of moles are Na and Nb. Therefore the formula for mole fraction of A is equal to number of moles of A divided by number of moles of solution. It is generally given as number of moles of A divided by number of moles of solution. For example, here I will give what is mole fraction, right? So that is a mole fraction. So if you want to calculate the mole fraction for any molecule, consider two substances A and B. There are two substances A and B, right? So A consists of Na molecules, right? And B consists of Nb molecules, right? So A consists of Na molecules and B consists of Nb molecules, right? So if you want to calculate a mole fraction of A for A, right? So if you want to calculate the mole fraction for A, then what we will do, that is equal to according to formula, number of moles of A divided by number of moles of solution. Number of moles of A divided by number of moles of solution. The same formula I will write here. Number of moles of A divided by numbers of moles of solution. That is equal to number of moles of A are Na, that is Na, divided by number of moles of solution, means both A and B are the, whenever you add a reactant, so these two reactants, that will give the overall solution, solute plus solvent, right? So therefore it is nothing but Na plus Nb, right? So this is the mole fraction of A, right? So the mole fraction of A can be given as the number of moles of A divided by number of moles of overall solution. Similarly, we can calculate the mole fraction of B also. That is, mole fraction of B is equal to, right? So number of moles of B, right? So divided by number of moles of solution. Number of moles of B divided by number of moles of solution, that is Nb divided by again Na plus Nb. This is all about the mole fraction, right? So you can calculate the mole fraction, that is in the formula, mole fraction of any particular substance, that is equal to number of moles of A divided by number of moles of solution. Similarly, number of moles of B divided by number of moles of solution, right? So that can be given as Na divided by Na plus Nb, Na divided by Na plus Nb divided by Na plus Nb, right? So if there are two different molecule or substance, we have given like this, right? So if there are three different, say for example, there are three different molecules like this, right? So I will say in the second example, if there are A, B and C, right? So the number of substance in case of A is Na, in B is Nb and C is Nc, right? So if you want to calculate the mole fraction for A, right? So then what I will do, so I will write it as Na divided by Na plus Nb plus Nc, right? Because it is made up of three different molecules. One is A, one is B, one is C. We have to add all the three, Na plus Nb plus Nc. Similarly, mole fraction of B, or for B, we can write it as Nb, because B is the main thing, that is the number of moles of B, that is divided by Na plus Nb plus Nc. Similarly, if you want to calculate the mole fraction of C, that is mole fraction of C is equal to Nc, because we are calculating or talking about C. Therefore, Nc divided by the number of atoms which are present in the solution, Na plus Nb plus Nc, right? So therefore, it only changes in the numerators. It only changes in the numerator. Whenever you calculate for C, you have to take Nc. Whenever you calculate for A, you have to take Na. Whenever you calculate for B, you have to take Nb, right? So like this, we can calculate the molecular formula. Therefore, it is very simple formula. Molecular formula is equal to number of moles of the given substance or the particular substance divided by number of moles of overall solution, that is A plus B. If there are three, means A plus B plus C. Like this, we can calculate the mole fraction in case of any compound. Okay, so this is all about some of the important definitions as well as the formulas which we have seen, and there are last two important definitions, and definitely out of two, one will be for your annual examination. In that, first one is molarity, right? And second one is molality, right? So be careful with the word. So there is only one difference. Here we are taking R, right? So that is a molarity, and here we are taking it is L. That makes the greater difference in this, right? So one is molarity and another one is molarity, right? And molarity is given in terms of capital M, and molarity is given in terms of small m, right? Similar, the greater difference is here we have taken L, remember here we are taking R, right? So that is the only one alphabetical difference between molarity and molarity in terms of so general way of expressing, but there is a huge difference between molarity and molarity. Remember, molarity is represented by capital M and molarity is represented by small m, right? So according to the definition of molarity means it is defined as the number of moles of solute in 1 liter, right? So generally we'll call it as number of moles of solute in 1 liter of solution. If you take 1 liter solution, so in that 1 liter solution, so if you take in terms of 1 liter, the solution is taken in terms of 1 liter. This is important, remember. This word is important, right? So if you take any substance in terms of 1 liter, generally we call that solution as a molarity. That is generally called as molarity. Therefore, molarity, right? So that is M is equal to number of moles of solute, whole divided by volume of solution in liters. So this word is very important, always remember, volume of solution in liters, right? So this word is very important, remember, right? So therefore the number of moles of solute in 1 liter of solution, in 1 liter of, wherever we use the 1 liter, so that will be recognized as a molarity, and wherever we use the kg, that is generally given in terms of molarity, right? So the same definition, but only one important change is the liter is converted into kg, because 1 liter is not equal to 1 kg. 1 kg is different, 1 liter is different, right? So therefore here the definition is given as number of moles of solute present in 1 kg of solvent. It is called as molarity, right? So remember, wherever we use 1 kg, so that gives the molarity. Wherever we use 1 liter, so that gives the molarity, right? So therefore similarly molarity, that is small m, right? So capital M for molarity, small m for molality. Therefore molality M is equal to number of moles of solute divided by mass of solvent in kg, right? So this is very important, remember, whenever we talk in terms of kg, so that will be always the molality, and whenever we talk in terms of liters, that will be in terms of molarity, right? So this will be definitely for 1 marks, either this will be or whether this will be molarity, right? So here, so there is a greater difference between molarity and molarity. When